So on this channel, we've talked about that Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, who I love and respect. And whenever anyone says that they love and respect someone, they're just going to trash him. But PFT for me back in the day, I've told this story before. When I was looking at my first smartphone, I had to look up how ProFootballTalk.com showed up because I wanted to make sure I got my fix from back in the day. I used to have an arrest counter and stuff. It was crazy. But Florio, noted Vikings fan, longtime Vikings fan. It was kind of tough growing up in Steel Country, you know, after watching them lose that Super Bowl to the Steelers down in Tulane Stadium. It was before the Superdome. Whatever. But with Florio, it's always a little bit of self-loathing. Now, I fully understand it. As a Vikings fan, you want to protect yourself emotionally because if you get too invested, that thing can come crashing down. But if you're always just like, beep, right there, this team can't kill you if you're already dead inside. Someone put that on a coffee mug. Anyway, so with Florio, noted Vikings fan, him and PA go way back. Again, that's not a thermos. But finally, he's given up the hatred of his own team. He was giving up the self-loathing. He's giving up the protection of just in case this season ain't it, man. Putting the Vikings at numero uno in his power rankings. The Vikings, I mean, it's about time. Also, you're starting to see this now too, where I feel like this happens with every fan base, but the Vikings is more pronounced because we're in it. So it feels like, I don't know, 40% of the fan base just likes to hate on the team. It's like, oh, they're not this good, and oh, they'll blow it, and all blah 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 blah. Versus believe, like, hey, believe, all that stuff. Where it's almost like they want to be proven right, and the Vikings have given them ample opportunities in the past. Like, hey, the team is bad, they blow it in big games, they do this. Like, oh, I'm always right. This team always lets me down. Minnesota sports, all that stuff. But they're even them. Like, their heart is starting to thaw out, or it's starting to be like the Grinch. It grew 3 sizes that day. It's like your secretariat or something, man. You should probably get that checked out. But all of a sudden, they are in. They're jumping on the bandwagon. You could call them the most fair weather fans there is, because that literally is the definition. Well, they only cheer for the team when they're really good. Okay, it's okay. They come on aboard. We don't hate. We congratulate. And I'm glad that Florio is giving the Vikings a time of day after that thrilling win against the Buffalo Bills. The Eagles knocked down a peg or two after losing at home to the Commanders, and the rest of power rankings: the Vikings 1, Chiefs 2, Eagles 3, Giants up at 4. Baby, I mean 7-2. I don't know, like in the teens is way too low. I put them top 10, sure, but I mean the Dolphins are coming. The Dolphins are leading that division. They already have a game up on the Bills. Tua's playing at MVP level. Yeah, they're going to be really good. Ravens are starting to get their ish together, especially on defense. Offensively, Lamar Jackson's going to be hard to stop. Cowboys drop a couple spots. Jets moving on up, even off a bye. The Bills dropping 4. I mean, he only had the Bills at 5, huh? I'm surprised he put the Vikings at 1. It's like, whoa, I mean, the Bills were only the number 5 team. Please. Niners, I don't believe in the Niners as long as Jimmy Garoppolo is the quarterback. Doesn't matter how good that defense is. Doesn't matter how good Debo and McCaffrey are, even though he got out-touched by Elijah Mitchell. Sure, don't care. I don't care. Seahawks tumble is what it is. Patriots stagnant on the bye. Let's see, Titans, Bucks, whatever. I also like how the Raiders are dead last now. Because, I mean, the Raiders are just listless. I mean, they lost to a guy who was sitting on the couch last week. It's rough. So he's got the Packers at, what is that, 18? Previously 22. I don't know. This seems like one last spasm. You know, like when someone dies and like the body is deceased, but then they just or that. Ooh, all right. So dead bodies do this thing. Not that I know from experience, Dateline, but I've read that they just expel gas. And it's just like someone dies and then all of a sudden. Like all of the gas excretes from the body. That's the Packers right now. I mean, that little was their come from behind win at home against the Cowboys. That was it. Lions. The Bears should be lower. I mean, as much hype as the Bears are getting because Justin Fields is running for 1 billion yards. I mean, they're still 1-6 in the last 7 games. The Lions, I mean, respect. They're getting it done. They're getting it done, but we shall see. But I'm glad that Florio has given up the hatred, even though, again, this is the emotional hedge we talked about. So this is from PFT's write-up. Number 1, Vikings. 8-1 last week. Number 2, Team of destiny, even if destiny means finding yet another spectacular way to lose in the postseason. Fair. That is actually pretty fair, but I don't know. This one just feels different. And I like that they're taking it a week at a time. We're not putting the cart before the horse. There is still a full half of the season left to go. And the Vikings have a shot at the 1 seed. The Vikings have a shot to have the NFC run through historic U.S. Bank Stadium. They have a chance to have home game, Super Bowl. That's what they got to do, man. That's what gotta do. And I think that at minimum, even like the most hate-filled, crusty Vikings fans out there is like, oh, I've been a fan since this year, so that gives me a better vantage point because I've seen this. Shut up. That just means you're old. But that was mean. But even the crustiest fans have to say, like, this team is different. Like, when they're in a close game, they find a way to win. They don't beat themselves. They beat the other team. And sometimes the other team beats themselves. Sometimes the Vikings win. Either way, it still counts the same in the win column. So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Florio finally gives up the hatred of his own team. Again, not a thermos. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.